Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda Anthem.
It's your boy.
But before we go, Yacht Club situation, if we can, very interesting. I spoke to Keys about it. So Buster, he was telling me about it. I know how Ian feels about it, so I won't get his full. Hopefully he doesn't go full. But it's interesting. Take the emotions out of it. I think it's a very interesting play. What they did was, so they have the NFT. Obviously, they have 3 versions of the NFT, and what they did on, I believe it was Thursday. That was that
Thursday, yeah,
Wednesday. Thursday.
Yeah,
so the day we had the activation is they dropped their coin.
Yeah,
and they airdropped every single holder of an NFT got airdropped coins. And depending on how many NFTs you had, then obviously you got more coins. But it's like one of our friends has one Bored Ape, and he got airdropped coins. And that coin, when he got airdropped, it was worth he got $70,000 worth of coins. Some people made up to like 60 million, depending on how many apes you had. And like I said, just taking emotion out of it, I thought it was a brilliant idea and a really a game changing, because it's like, all right, now you're rewarding your community in the form of cryptocurrency, and it hit all major platforms. That's very rare. Like it hit Coinbase, Binance, all major platforms on day one, went up 125%, went down after that a little bit, but and it's like, I'm assuming for all future like events and different things of that nature. So now it's you can see something that actually started as artwork being turned into a community that's actually being turned into something that can actually be physically valuable on a broad range e-commerce situation. So I thought that was something. Even Keys, he was like, "Yo, I can't even knock it." Like that was dope. Like that was a smart move.
It kind of answers some of the things that we used to question. It was like, well, yeah, this is a piece of art. It's subjective. How much is it really worth? But when you put the coins in place now you can see the next play is like these coins will grant you access to certain utilities. And so now it kind of starts answering those questions. Like, yeah, you have the art piece, but now you have coins that exclusively get you into events that I'm sure that they're going to be having, and meetings that I'm sure that they're going to be having, and certain specific things and travel that I'm sure that will be having or coming in the next few months that they're going to announce. And so it kind of answered that question a little bit. It was like, all right, we can't knock that. You can't knock that from that standpoint.
Yeah, the rollout was great. Even though some of the undertones I hate, it goes back to the point that I made a few months ago that every brand is going to become a hedge fund. The business that everybody's going to be in, especially when things are rough as they are now, who can help their audience make the most and give them the most exclusivity. So from that standpoint, from a branding and a marketing standpoint, I think it was brilliant. Because regardless of what you say, if somebody drop you 70,000, may make you smile a little bit, let alone a couple million. So it changes the perspective of like, hey, so we've done it in our own way and giving cash ups and stuff like that. Great, but to do this at scale and now certain benefits are being unlocked. And anyone that's, in the PlayStation system or Xbox, this is like a physical version of that for adults.
Yeah.
Like any kid I tell about it, they're like, that's been happening when we're gaming, but now it's being done for an adult audience that isn't exposed to that market. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, I don't want to but I just, it's interesting. And I think that it was definitely well played out, well thought out, and, definitely something to at least cover, because we have to be neutral as journalists. So even if we don't fully agree with everything, we got to, at least cover the news and give unbiased.
And the returns have been great. I just don't like some of the undertones, but I'm going to be honest. People will look past improprieties if they're making enough money. I even know some Black people that had it like, I know the ape thing you talking about, the racist, but the value of it. So it depends on which way you want to go. But in terms of return, you can't knock. And then how they put that community together. It's a great case study to follow for sure.
Yeah. Can we touch on something real quick?
Absolutely.
One of my picks that I've been invested in for a while, and I talk to people all the time about it. Live Nation, and it probably went under the radar, but they did a deal with Verizon today, and so that is kind of interesting, right? Because when you think about a large entertainment company and a large communication company coming together, where are they going with this? And so obviously we know Live Nation has entertainment and concerts, and you connect with the 5G company, and so now what does that do? That brings concerts and entertainment directly to your cell phone, directly to your computer. And so when we start talking about the metaverse and spaces like this, you can kind of see like now you can actually be in this space and now view concerts. If you couldn't get tickets and they sold out, you can still be a part of that process. And so they kind of took like when we talked about the Travis Scott situation, where it was like, yo, we got 6 million people watching and how much money can be generated. Well, rather than selling out a 20,000 seat arena, now you can have 100,000 of your fans at a different ticketed price from their homes or even in a virtual space, watch it. So that's an interesting deal. I'm gonna follow that. I think everybody should also follow that because that type of situation, as far as technology and entertainment coming together, it's going to be a big situation in the future.
Been holding Live Nation since 2020.
Yeah, man. It was down at it was crazy. It was down at $42
Okay.
right when the pandemic hit, and I was like, I'm a huge concert goer. Like, again, it's one of those principles, like invest in where you're spending your money. And so I've been going to plenty of concerts, and I'm like, this is one of the companies I know obviously has been hit, but when the world opens back up, people are going to want to be back together, communing in concerts. And it was interesting because Bun B was talking about how hip hop and religion, the similarities, and when he was breaking it down, I was just like,
yeah,
yo, he's got an excellent like point right here. And so once people were able to come back into the space, you can see Live Nation. I mean, it hit an all-time high this year. And so now this deal makes a lot of sense because now you can touch more customers and they don't have to leave their own space if they don't want to. So that's
it's at 111.
Yeah,
it's the power of holding. Like it's like you said, it's a sleeper. Not many people. I haven't heard anybody outside of you talk about it. For it to be at 111, probably should be like 130 by the end of the year. And that's, I want to give Chamath full credit for it, but he was talking about how since kids have been at home learning, it's affected their reading, and for adults, it actually affected the levels of depression and caused them to go up. So concert goers and outdoor venues can make the argument like it is healthier for you to be outside in communion with other people opposed to being locked in your house. Once we get these clearances and hopefully this next wave that's hitting China now doesn't come and affect us too bad, but yeah, the summer it could take off. But congrats for holding that for such a long
that was a good one.
Time.
Yeah. And you said China, so we'll just, I mean, while we're here, I just want to condolences to everybody that was lost in the Boeing 737 crash. 132 people died in the crash. So, obviously Boeing pulled back today. So just, condolences to everybody that was lost and their families in the tragedy.
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's
This
good?
that Red Panda Anthem.
It's your
Whole
boy.
clique going up. I know they can't stand it.